know what Sony had? The Holy Trinity. Leo, Brad, and Margot. Who do you have?
Hello and welcome to Boy Party, the podcast that tackles cinema's most legendary team-ups, films where two or more major stars share the screen and battle it out for screen time, top billing, the fatter paycheck, and the most acclaim. My name is Lucy Wandaly, and I am joined by the translator, who is the only witness to my phone conversations with the Russian president that may define the end of the world. It's Shane Kelly.
Good evening, good end of days to you.
The Matador. The Matador! It's the Matador! Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fail-safe episode of the show. It's fail-safe time. There is a massive map in front of us with tiny little dots moving around on a screen, and they're very scary. And we are
scary pixels,
all holding our breath. Interesting case of a movie we are discussing today where the first billed actor is not one of the actors that we are acknowledging, let's say.
No.
And this is us committing a bit of a case of boy party fraud, but it is also a case of a billing order that I simply do not understand.
It is when you watch it, it is a boy party.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure.
For the most part.
The movie fulfills our criteria in its construction, but it doesn't in its formalities.
Yeah.
This movie is first billed Dana O'Herlihy. Now, Dan O'Herlihy is an actor I can't say I'm overly familiar with, but I'd like to tell you some fun facts about Dan O'Herlihy because I think you're going to be a bit more interested in this man in a few seconds.
This is an Irishman.
Dan O'Herlihy was born in County Wexford in 1919. He was educated at Christian Brothers in Dunleary and later studied at University College Dublin, graduating in architecture in 1944.
That is wonderful. There is someone from my alma mater.
He joined the Abbey Theatre as a bit player. He pursued acting full-time, working at the Abbey and Gate Theatre as a set designer and later as an actor. That's the first interesting fact.
Yeah.
I have a second interesting fact. Dan O'Herlihy is in Twin Peaks.
Yes.
This guy, I need to become a fucking Dan O'Herlihy scholar.
He's from up the road.
The man is from up the road. He went to UCD. He's in Twin Peaks. He's in Failsafe. This is a person who I think is very important to us.
Now, how has he slipped out of the canon of Irish actors?
Right? I mean, he died in 2005 at the age of 85. Like, he probably just missed getting an IFTA Lifetime Achievement Award if he died in 05.
Yeah.
Like, I guess he's just, like, probably wasn't super active.
Like, did he kind of move to America and stay there?
Yeah, so his final movie was RoboCop 2 in 1990. He is in The Dead.
Is he a major character in RoboCop?
RoboCop 2, not 2. RoboCop.
He's not RoboCop.
No, he plays the CEO of OCP Corp. But he is in The Dead, which is like one of the great Irish films. But he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 11th build. He seemingly, that was kind of his last Irish film. But like, he only made like 8 movies after Failsafe. Like, he retired in 1990. So I guess you can kind of understand why he maybe has fallen out of people's memory.
Yeah, and Failsafe in general is kind of an underappreciated masterpiece for the most part.
Twin Peaks isn't, but he's in 6 episodes of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And then his final role ever, in 98, he plays Joe Kennedy in a TV movie called The Rat Pack, starring Ray Liotta as Frank Sinatra, Joe Mantegna as Dean Martin, Don Cheadle as Sammy Davis Jr., William Peterson as JFK, and then Dan O'Herlihy plays Joseph Kennedy, and there's a couple other heads in it. That sounds
nice.
dreadful.
There's a crossover there between a guy from the original Failsafe and the 2000 version, live TV version of Failsafe.
Yes, exactly. So, yes, the other thing we must say today is that if you're coming on here expecting us to talk about the 2000 live TV version of Failsafe, boy, are you in for disappointment. We are talking about the 1964 Sidney Lumet movie, which was later remade as a live TV performance play.
A thing that was driven by George Clooney's interest in
we
it.
will come around later in the show. Spoiler for the end of the show, George Clooney names this as one of his 4 favorite movies when he's asked by Letterboxd. We'll be doing his top 4 later in the show, but George Clooney obviously had a lot of capital in 2000 and had the ability to get a live TV play made off of his basically his status, and he used it to get a performance of Failsafe put on TV that he was able to star in. And he doesn't play either of the main roles. I mean, if you made this today,
no, does he not play the Dan O'Herlihy role?
He might play the Dan O'Herlihy role, sure.
Yeah, he's Colonel Black, I believe.
But he'd be very good as the president if this was made today.
He was just a bit too young at the time.
He was too young at the time. Yeah. But like Clooney post 2005 5, basically, would make a pretty good president in
Yeah.
Failsafe. I mean, I think
Is he a president in the Ides of March? No,
he
or
plays
is
a
it
presidential candidate.
candidate?
I don't think George Clooney has ever played the president. I wonder, is part of that he wants to keep his options open? That he's like,
You don't want to get typecast as a...
Well, no, I'm saying, does George Clooney not want there to be a fictional version of him as a president that would cloud people's opinions were he to actually run for president? Because I think that undermines some actors who have political ambitions, that there is a template to look at of them. I think George Clooney maybe wants people to keep an open mind about him in political office.
I don't know, if we jumped the shark on your media presence being a
perhaps yes.
detractor from
Perhaps.
your political ambitions.
The Ides of March is also close enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, George Clooney's never. I don't think he's played an actual president, but he'd be good. He'd be good in this. He's no Henry Fonda, but he'd be good. So they had Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes.
Famed boy party Hall of Famer as the president, probably the worst casting of all time. Richard Dreyfuss, a man who is a little shouty fucking nuisance of an actor, like just a guy who cannot do measured, playing a role that is all about restraint. The whole character of the president in this is a guy who's not losing his cool in the scariest, most high stakes situation that one man has ever been put in. Richard Dreyfuss. If you gave Richard Dreyfuss access to nuclear weapons, I would be throwing myself into the Liffey. We would be so fucking doomed. Yeah. So terrible casting. Harvey Keitel is in it. Does he play the Matthau role?
No, he's General Bogler. He's the guy in like the actual war room.
I do like that guy. He's very good.
He gets hit in the head with a phone.
General Bogan.
General Bogan.
Frank Overton is that character in this movie. Now, you might know him because he plays the sheriff in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay.
And he's very, very good in that. He's a fantastic actor.
The Walter Matthau character is Gortashel, I think.
Okay. Yes.
Who is a
Gortashel.
political science academic.
Yes.
Who seemingly spends his time hypothesizing on nuclear war scenarios and how we would respond.
Yeah, a job you would love to have.
Yeah, sure.
Big sicko. Yeah, he's sitting around like, and that's when we'll run out of water and people will. I can't do a Walter Matthau impression.
No,
God, he's impossible to do.
But he gets
a boner for the end of the world.
He does, really and the women around him seem to as well.
Love it
there is a 5-minute What's New Pussycat type scene where a woman gets into his car and she says, "Take me home," and then she's like, "Tell me about the nukes."
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Like, looking straight forward in the car in a thing that reminded me a lot of the final scene of Some Like It Hot.
Yeah,
where he won't look at her. He's looking forward and he's like, and then they'll run out of electricity, and that's when the food production will stop. And you can see him getting more excited.
What will the people do? And he's like, nobody's perfect.
And she's just there like, oh, tell me more.
Isn't it beautiful?
That role was played in the remake by Hank Azaria. Not bad casting.
Oh, that's fun.
I can see that. I don't really like Hank Azaria, but I can see that. So apparently that character was based on two real guys, John von Neumann, a Hungarian-American engineer, and then a guy called Herman Kahn, who was like, I think, a guy who went on American TV and talked about war a lot. So yes, he is very much a type of guy. Meanwhile, in that remake, you have James Cromwell as Gordon Knapp, Sam Elliott as Congressman Raskob, Brian Dennehy as Bogan. Sorry, you were wrong. Brian Dennehy is Bogan, and Keitel is Brigadier General Black, and then Cheadle is in it.
Sorry, Keitel is the Dana Hurley character. So
yes, I guess so.
Huh? I
don't know. And then,
excuse me.
No, he's not. Maybe he is. Walter Cronkite was part of this.
Yeah.
And then Noah Wiley plays Buck.
Does Walter Cronkite do the voiceover?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. In the remake. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary. I wouldn't want a real newsman doing a fake nuclear thing voiceover. Imagine if you put on a thing and Brian Dobson was doing like, and nuclear missiles.
Well, I mean, sorry, we have Failsafe on DVD, and we went into the special features, and they showed a clip of a real life nuclear safety warning ad voiced over by Lyndon Johnson.
Very scary.
And it starts with a child sitting in a field picking petals off a daisy, and then a fucking nuke goes off.
A moment of pure innocence disrupted by chaos.
Yes.
Horrible.
And it's just like,
I would say that ad was more disturbing than the film Failsafe.
Potentially. You can see it was very like the type of tension and scariness it elicits is kind of like very similar to the film.
Very similar. But you know what? I'll say this about Failsafe. There's no kids in Failsafe.
No.
Whereas that had a little child with flowers. Big difference.
Yeah.
There's no flowers in Failsafe.
No, I better do a quick rundown of just what the plot of this is, because we've kind of gone into
we've gone
remakes
into
and
nonsense territory. So no more about the remake. Okay. This is a 1964 film directed by Sidney Lumet. It's written by a guy called Walter Bernstein, who wrote Little Miss Marker, and he wrote The Front, and he was, you're not going to believe this, blacklisted in the 50s because of his views on communism. Now, I want to tell you a really fun fact about this guy, which is that he died 4 years ago at the age of 101.
No way.
Oh my God. I mean, Sidney Lumet kind of pulled something similar. Sidney Lumet died in not really. Sidney Lumet died in 2011 at 86.
Yeah.
But still, it was written by him. It was based on a book called Failsafe by Eugene Burdick and Harvey Wheeler, which we must get a copy of. And it is one of 2 films released in 1964 about this exact thing.
And this exact thing is a electrical failure that results in a incorrect message being sent to a nuclear bomber to go and bomb Russia.
More or less.
Yes.
A computer glitch leads to false information being given, and they put the guys on alert.
We were giggling at this because there's a 10-minute kind of exposition scene where the manufacturer of the tech is like explaining it to a congressman.
Yeah.
And he's like, the machine, and there's like, the machines, they can think for themselves. And it's just kind of,
it's funny that
pretty relevant today.
Yes,
you know?
1960s, they were already worrying about this stuff.
Yeah.
So yes, they basically, you've got the situation where these guys are in a bomber plane circling or orbiting around Russia.
Yeah.
And they're basically given a message that
they're kind of on standby on the Russian border perpetually.
Yeah. And they basically receive this message to go now and launch some nukes.
Yeah.
And the messages are communicated through like a fucking
fail-safe
laminated piece of paper that they keep.
Yeah.
It's very funny. And then they are basically strictly instructed, do not listen to any contradictory orders once you cross this point.
Essentially,
no matter what we say, no matter if the president himself calls you, that might not be the president. That might be Russian impersonation of the president.
Yeah.
So don't listen to anyone. Just go and plant the bomb. And once the guys have reached this point, the guys back in home base realize, oh, no, this was a mistake.
Yeah.
But it's too late to do anything about it. And the rest of the movie plays out from there.
Yeah. And this film is structured in 3 different rooms. In the first room, you have the president and his translator in a bunker in DC, I'd imagine.
Yeah, under the White House, I think.
Under the White House, yeah. You've Walter Matthau and the Secretary of War or Secretary of Defense.
Yeah.
In another room in DC somewhere.
Which is sort of like a kind of a...
He was giving a lecture.
Yeah, but it's a room of like a think tank of consultant guys. Like,
yes, including General Black or whatever.
Yeah, smart, knowledgeable war experts that the president will consult.
He's giving a presentation on different war situations.
Yeah. And then the third room is the actual room with the big screens.
It's the bomber base in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where they launch the airplanes.
Yeah, no, if only there was another film recently that had 3 different segments.
We will get to that.
And then the fourth location is up in the plane.
4th location's up in the plane.
Where the boys are just kind of flying, being like, we're going to keep doing this no matter what.
They do take a trip in a car at one point, but that's not true. And they go to a launch party at the beginning. But
well, the movie has a bunch of stuff at the start, but then it launches into an hour and 20 minutes of just like pure, stressful, crazy action.
And like, this thing is like miraculously directed.
Yeah.
The way it kind of bounces between the 3 very static rooms.
It could be so theatrical and stagey, and it is not. It is so cinematic.
It feels like it has so much motion to it, even though it's one of the most stationary things.
And there's so much of it, like enough about House of Dynamite. There's so much of this in the most recent Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
In terms of the way that Lumet shoots Henry Fonda from like this low angle where his face just looks big and terrifying. And it's like a shot that they've pulled a number of times in those Missions Impossible. And especially the most recent one, there's a whole segment of that film that is Angela Bassett in a room with Nick Offerman and a few other guys trying to decide whether to launch a nuke, and it is completely ripped off from this.
It's kind of badly done.
And House of Dynamite is a much more successful rip-off of this, which works quite well, I think, but we'll get to that. So yeah, as you said, bouncing between 4 locations, moves really, really well. Does not, like, I'm sure you could put this on in a stage setting and it would work well. We saw Doctor Strangelove, its counterpart, in a theatrical setting last year, And I thought that worked really well.
Yeah.
I thought that having a giant, but that is a farce, and that is full of people running around and tripping over each other, and it is played out as surrealist comedy, whereas this is like, this kind of needs the metrics of it needs the fucking tempos of editing to keep it as exciting as it is.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit of maybe like more of an academic thing to it, whereas Dr. Strangelove kind of keeps moving through silliness and zaniness, you know. And
I got so completely lost in the conversations between Henry Fonda and his translator.
Yeah.
Where like you forget he's kind of, it's a 3-channeled call where like he's on the phone to the Russian president and receiving everything through the translator.
Yeah.
But you feel every word and every bit of stakes.
I know,
from it.
it's
Like
incredible. No, the way they do it is great, which is that you can kind of just about hear the Russian voice through the phone faintly, but the translator is just kind of repeating it in English in real time.
Yeah.
So Henry Fonda is having a conversation with the translator, who is played by J.R. from Dallas.
Yeah.
And he's so good in this movie, Larry Hagman, and his name is Buck, and he'll be listening, and he'll kind of repeat it in this very slow way that you can really pay attention to, where he's like, the president is saying that we don't know if we can believe you, but we feel we must trust you at your word. He's kind of speaking in that way. So you're, as the audience member, you're really able to lock into what he's saying because he's actually speaking. And then Henry Fonda, who is not dissimilar, you and I established, to David Lynch and how he talks, especially in this film, really talks like this in this movie. I'm doing a little bit more cartoonish, but he basically is like, we know what we must do in situations such as these. And your man is talking like this back to him. And you have a Russian voice at the end of the phone that is talking very solemn way like this. And it's so good. That's like the best part of the movie, is the stuff in that.
Like the task Henry Fonda as president has here is to convince the Russian president that it's been an accident, that a bomb is on the way to
most
Moscow.
of his job is to apologize,
Yeah.
and is then to find a way to rebalance the moral ground,
Yeah.
through self-destruction.
Yeah.
And it is an insane situation that the movie comes up with that is completely unrealistic, I would say, in the sense of like Henry Fonda as the president being an American president who would ever even consider doing something that is so...
I'm almost afraid to reveal the ending here for people who might listen to this before watching it.
But we won't. But let's just say he's an American president who feels that he must make amends to such an extent that I do not believe would ever occur in real life.
No.
But the movie makes it completely believable, and a lot of that is the casting of Fonda and the way he plays this president, where you're like, this guy is so concerned with this destruction not being one-sided. This cannot be a one-sided thing. It cannot be America killing Russians and getting away with it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the real scariness comes from how measured the Russian president is.
Absolutely.
As well. Like if he was going nuts
screaming
and like,
and
what the
shouting
fuck's wrong with you, evil, I'm going to bomb
it would keep the whole movie kind of like...
You'd almost take a side.
You'd be like, fuck the Russians. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Russian president accepts what's happening so early and then is just equally kind of bummed out about it.
He says, look, if this bomb hits, I have to send one back. That's And everyone's like, yeah, that's the rules.
Yeah. And they're all like, yeah, that's fair.
I don't want it, but
I think that's what makes me feel sick when I think about catastrophic events is world leaders being kind of resigned about it rather than being angry, you know?
Yeah, this is in the hands of the most competent versions of what they are, and yet they still can't figure out how to come out without any harm.
There's nothing worse than someone who's meant to be in charge of all this power and weapons and everything just being like, I don't fucking know what to do about this. And I think that's what this movie does. It's so scary. So that's one room. Then you have your room with the generals and the boys and this Frank Overton character who's great, General Bogan. And there's a lot of silly stuff going on here, but the bit I really love is towards the end where the Russian guy on the other end of the phone collapses and another guy takes over.
Yeah.
And then Frank Overton and the other guy in Russia realize that they were both living in London at the same time.
During the war,
and they have this really nice moment of connection. And it kind of is cheesy on paper, but they pull it off. It's such a good, it's so well written.
Yeah, the war room are kind of in charge of like the physical operations of trying to stop the bomber where they're They send fighters to shoot them down. They're helping the Russians to try and shoot them down.
Nothing's working, and the Russians and them are cooperating to try and get these fucking guys out of the sky and kill. They want to kill the American guys.
But also, the war room is so tapped where, like, when the American bombers that are about to bomb Russia successfully shoot down Russian fighters, the guys start cheering. And he, as general, has turned like, he's like,
shut up, we're trying to do this. We want to kill the Americans. Yes, there's a large portion of the frustration in this film of military men who are so trained to follow orders that no logic will get in the way.
It's like when you are it's so drilled into you need to justify your existence through seeing what you work towards manifest in reality.
But the boys up in the plane being so brainwashed that they won't turn around even when one of their wives gets on the phone, and this is the most fucking horrible thing in the film. The wife gets on the phone and is like screaming and crying,
Frank,
and
it's your wife.
Begging him not to.
It's false.
And the guys in the plane are like, that could be a Russian agent impersonating your wife. We need to continue killing tens of thousands of Russians. It's so bad. Then you have your Walter Matthau room, and this just gives Walter Matthau a platform to fucking be class, where he's just like being the world's most.
Like, the bomb is halfway to Russia. He's like, we gotta launch all of them now.
Yeah, he's so pro bombing shit in a way that is so completely a-human. Like he's
got a fantasy of just wanting to see what happens.
Yeah, he just wants to know what happens because he's just interested in the research. He's got this really fucked up like social scientist approach to nuclear war of just like
his life's work will be answered.
I'll never know until
happens.
we see it. So he's like looking for reasons for it to happen. And then you have the guys in the plane. So that's kind of everything that happens in this movie.
Yeah, Walter Matthau also kind of serves the role of switching into the gear of if something were to happen to the States, shit, what documents do we need to recover?
Oh, there's a really good bit where they go, are there any documents being held in New York that are integral to the running of the United States? And this old man goes, there are many important documents in New York, but none of them are integral to the running of the United States.
But then he starts on about how if New York was to be hit, the cleanup would need to ignore the people because they're beyond beyond saving, and like just search for the biggest corporation's documents.
Oh my god,
He tells a funny story at the beginning where like who will survive nuclear war, and he's like, it's the lowly insurance man. Those buildings are protected with so much paper that the news won't get through.
Jesus Christ,
it's a heat insulator, he said.
That's good. But yeah, so House of Dynamite, which I don't want to spend more than 2 minutes on it because it's a different movie, but it is a kind of a fail-safe remake.
Yeah.
And it does maybe actually is a little bit too similar for a movie that isn't like a direct remake.
Yeah.
You have a very similar setup. You have 3 spaces.
Yes.
Four, I suppose. You have the room in the White House where the people who control the missiles are looking at screens. Yeah, you have Rebecca Ferguson at the center of that.
Yeah.
Then you have your military men bickering room with Tracy Letts.
Yeah, they're based in Hawaii.
Yes. Then you have your president and his translator, except instead of, now it's very similar dynamic, but it's not a translator. It's just the guy with the nuclear football, and it's Idris and him, and they're first in a car.
They're just kind of on the move.
Yeah, they're on the move. They're in a car. They're in a plane. They're all over. And then, but the movie ends in a plane.
You also have the military base in Alaska.
And then you have the guys up in Alaska who are kind of spread across the film, and they're, I don't know, they're just kind of the first people who know when the thing is incoming. And then you have a couple of other things going on where you have the secretary is Jared Harris and whatever, but they're all floating between. That movie is split into 3 sections. You kind of go kind of up the chain of command. Yeah. And many people have noted, you go down the way in terms of expertise. Mm-hmm. You start off with the people who know the most and make the least decisions, and then you end up with the president who has just been inaugurated, doesn't know what he's doing, but has to decide what to do.
I thought this was a really nice twist to throw on it where they fucked around with the chronology of it.
Yes, I think so.
That gave it enough of a new twist that I was happy enough to not be just constantly drawing parallels.
Yeah, I think that film is exciting and satisfying in many different ways to fail safe.
And one thing both of them do incredibly well is they are fucking outstanding phone movies.
Yeah, exactly. They make phone conversations really exciting. And there's a scene in House of Dynamite that is very good where the young lad, whose name I can never remember, it'll come to me in a sec, Gabriel Basso, who is like the deputy guy in his job and is very young and doesn't know what he's doing. He goes on the phone to the guy in Russia, and Mr. Australian Oppenheimer man, Jason Clarke, is standing beside him, kind of whispering to him like, "Don't say that, don't say that." Yeah. And he's on the phone to the Russian guy. The Russian guy's like, "Why should I trust you?" Now,
the House of Dynamite is the opposite situation where a missile is incoming to the US.
Yes, it's not Russian.
No,
they know that much.
They actually never identify the enemy.
No,
but like, is it the North Koreans? Is it the Russians?
Yeah,
is it the
they
Iranians?
never do. That movie does leave a lot of questions unanswered in a way that I understand is frustrating for people.
Yeah.
It does not, like, Failsafe has one of the greatest endings of a movie ever.
To the point where I was so satisfied by the Failsafe ending, I was completely content by House of Dynamite not even trying to come up with an alternative.
It doesn't try to come up with an alternative, and it does, as a detractor of the film would say, shrug its shoulders and just kind of cut to credits and be like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and that is a major criticism of most people who...
Yeah. If you've seen Failsafe, you like Failsafe, and you recognize the Failsafe stuff in House of Dynamite, you can get to the end of House of Dynamite and be like, oh, look, I'll always have the ending of Failsafe.
Yeah.
But if you're coming to House of Dynamite fresh, it does not have a conclusion.
Yes, it doesn't.
And this movie has such a good conclusion. So I think that that's a real failing of House of Dynamite that stops it from being like a capital G great film. But I do think it works really, really well. I watched it a second time. I thought it was good fun the second time. I think there's some great performances in that film. But it does lack the real tight focus that this does. It's trying to do too much. Maybe that's just a consequence of being made in 2025 where there's just more to deal with. There's the press room and there's this and that, and there's people on their phone. And there's a lot of stuff that like you have to worry about in the modern day.
People need to get out and call their kids.
Yeah, there's digital communications issues that exist now that didn't exist in the 1960s. In the 1960s, there's no cell phone. No one is calling their daughter in Chicago to warn her. No one is calling Greta Lee at the fucking reenactment. Like there's only the...
But it opens up a whole new set of problems where there's a great bit in House of Dynamite where they can't get the president on video because they don't have the right adaptability between two different calling softwares.
Yeah,
it's like someone's on WhatsApp and someone's on Skype, and like, I can't get the image from both.
And Gabriel
of these
Basso getting out of his car, having to run the last bit of his commute to the White House is really good. And there's good phone stuff in that film. And to be honest, this year had a couple of films with good phone stuff. I think One Battle After Another has a lot of really good phone stuff as well. But yeah, I think interesting counterpart. If you're gonna watch Failsafe after listening to this, folks, and you haven't seen House of Dynamite, I would recommend watching them both. In that order. I think you'll get a lot out of both of them, and they exist as an interesting duo of scary nuke movies, with I suppose Mission: The Final Reckoning being the kind of the fucked up third cog in that chain,
where that's like just a hyper explicit reference to something that Macquarie obviously identified as being great and just didn't really give it enough time.
Anyway, so I believe the billing on this movie has Dana Herlihy first billed, Walter Matthau second billed, then Frank Overton, Edward Binns, Larry Hagman, and then in a big lovely square box on the poster, and also starring Henry Fonda as the president. And you said, that's a bit odd. And I said, well, look, there is a precedent of a famous actor playing the president in an ensemble cast getting the and. You have the Martin Sheen on The West Wing gets the and. Idris Elba gets the and on House of Dynamite. So this is a thing that is done. Henry Fonda did play a number of president and president-adjacent characters throughout his life. I mean, he also played a lot of military men. So this presidential character he plays in this is a nice, compression of a lot of types that he was playing. I mean, I'm trying to think. Henry Fonda's career, 12 Angry Men, also Lumet, 57. And then this is 64. So we're talking kind of peak Henry Fonda here. This isn't like Henry Fonda when he's old as like the elder statesman president. This is kind of like Henry Fonda.
I thought 12 Angry Men was a lot earlier than
his prime. No, it's 50s. It looks older. I mean, we've never... the last Lumet movie we did would have been Network. As always noted, the thing that is so amazing about Sidney Lumet is that he directed 12 Angry Men in the 1950s, and he was making movies with Vin Diesel and Philip Seymour Hoffman in the 2000s. He spanned the entire history of cinema, from Henry Fonda to Al Pacino to fucking Vin Diesel, and no one has ever done it like him.
Was he for the most a kind of guy for hire? Did he drive his own projects?
No, I mean he wasn't a writer mostly, and he was kind of the greatest ever guy for hire. Like, he was working within the studio system, but like a lot of the great directors were. Like, there's very few great mid-century American directors who were like launching all their own projects.
I guess so. It wasn't as much a thing.
Hitchcock was, John Ford was. Yeah. They are a different type entirely. They were the, like, not to be, lazy. They were the fucking Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve of their day. Yeah. Sidney Lumet was like, there aren't as many of these guys now, but like Sidney Lumet, it was like, who's like a good director who works within the studio system and just kind of does
a guy you get.
Who's a guy?
No, not Sam Mendes.
Like, honestly, we're going to have to go for someone really kind of who does not make 5-star films, just because I can't think that hard. Let's just say like Raja Gosnell, who made the Scooby-Doo movies. Let's just say him. He's a guy for hire who always does a good job.
Yeah.
That's a terrible comparison. I'm looking at the DVD shelf here, folks. I'm trying to come up with something. I mean, I don't know. Is Sam Raimi kind of like that?
Does Ridley Scott drive his own projects?
He does, He does. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know what?
Never mind.
This kind of person doesn't exist anymore.
No.
It's as simple as that. But Henry Fonda is like a big kind of Western and war movie guy, which is a pity because I love Henry Fonda, but I don't like watching Westerns and war movies. So there's a lot of Henry Fonda films that I just have not seen. And I will hopefully get around to them one day. But for the purposes of this conversation, the man made literally hundreds of movies. So I'm going to just kind of brush off the ones that I've seen. Yeah. I watched an early enough one the other day, which is a John Ford movie from 1939 called Young Mr. Lincoln, where Henry Fonda wears a fake nose and plays young Abraham Lincoln.
Wonderful.
And he's... I'm Abraham Lincoln, and I'm going to represent you in court and make sure you get make sure you get a fair hearing. And it's just about Abraham Lincoln when he was an idealistic young lawyer. Yeah. And it's a nice movie. It was nice. It was charming. His next Ford collaboration that is like a kind of a classic is The Grapes of Wrath, which is, of course, adaptation of the Steinbeck. That's an amazing movie. I haven't seen it in years. I need to watch it again. It's a beautiful film about the Great Depression and, a father trying to kind of keep his family afloat during that period. He works with Preston Sturges on a phenomenal romantic comedy called The Lady Eve with himself and Barbara Stanwyck. And that's really a good demonstration of his comedic chops. He is very, very funny. And he's very good at doing rom-com silliness. And like, you could honestly put Henry Fonda in Dr. Strangelove and he would not be out of place because he's very good at doing physical comedy and slapstick and stuff. I've seen a few of the John Ford movies. I've seen My Darling Clementine. Mr. Roberts is the one that we talked about recently because it's him, it's Jimmy Cagney, it's Jack Lemmon. So I think we've actually mentioned that twice in the last few months because we did Lemmon and Cagney in close proximity, and they're all on a submarine together, basically. And it's good fun. John Ford co-directed that with Mervyn LeRoy. 12 Angry Men comes right after his one Hitchcock, which is The Wrong Man, which I watched the other day, which is a very boring film. Definitely my least favorite Hitchcock movie that I've seen, and I've seen 25 of them. This is one where he's literally just a guy who is like falsely accused of an armed robbery, and then the whole movie is him proving that he's not falsely accused. It's just lacking any of the suspense you'd want from a Hitchcock movie. He does a version of War and Peace with Audrey Hepburn that I've never seen, but sounds class. It's like 4 hours long. I will get to it. And then 12 Angry Men is probably, he's in the sort of 25 most iconic movie performances conversation for that. You've seen 12 Angry Men?
I have.
A great Lumet classic.
Yeah,
it's a good movie. Recently,
I think there's kind of 4 potential 5-star Lumet films.
Oh, 100%.
At least.
Of course. You got Network, you got Failsafe, you got 12 Angry Men, and then you're
Dog Day Afternoon.
Dog Day Afternoon. I haven't seen Serpico. We need to watch that. Yeah. And then there's like a mid-tier of really, really strong stuff as well. Yeah. The Wiz. But what was I going to say about 12 Angry Men? 12 Angry Men is like the only black and white 50s film that most people will watch. It weirdly appeals to like the
Is It's
normies.
a Wonderful Life earlier than that?
Yeah. You're right about It's a Wonderful Life. Okay. Well, let's say the two of those. I just feel like people who don't care about film are very happy to watch 12 Angry Men. And they don't seem to have an issue with the fact that it's old and it's black and white. And they would with any other film. And it seems to do the rounds in like stupid people's lists of favorite films.
Is it just one of these ones that just is incredibly good at capturing your attention when you see 5 minutes of it on TV.
And it must just, it ticks a lot of modern day boxes.
Yeah.
It's entertaining. I just feel like we had teachers in school who like didn't like film and would talk about 12 Angry Men. I was just like, why is that the one you make an exception for?
It's the number one default movie.
Yeah, it is. You might say that Jim Sheridan's recreation is to 12 Angry Men what House of Dynamite is to Failsafe.
I know.
You might.
You might. It's on the spectrum.
There's a few political movies in there. The stuff like what's this one called? Advise and Consent, where I think he is playing like president adjacent. He's in that movie that inspired the Waltons with Maureen O'Hara, Spencer's Mountain, which we talked about recently. But yeah, like the same year as Failsafe, he's in a movie called The Best Man. And let me tell you, based on this poster, I think this movie might be about an election.
Ooh.
So
not a wedding.
No, it looks like an election movie. Yeah. Yours, Mine, and Ours. Myself and Christina watched not only this film, but its 2005 remake.
Well, you got around to watching those.
On Saturday, we watched both of them.
We were looking at the trailers there.
We watched both of them. So Yours, Mine, and Ours is Lucille Ball and Henry Fonda. And she's got 8 children, and he has 10 children.
From different families.
And then they fall in love, and the 18 kids all live in a big house together. And it's very charming. I really enjoyed it. Van Johnson, one of my favorite supporting actors ever. Just an amazing guy with so much personality. He plays Henry Fonda's best friend, and that movie's great fun. Loads of kids. They all have fun faces. And I was thinking, watching it, you know, in Licorice Pizza, folks, Cooper Hoffman is meant to have just been in a movie where he plays one of Lucille Ball's kids. Yeah. And I put up on Letterboxd, like, is this the movie that Cooper Hoffman's meant to be in Licorice Pizza? And someone replied to my review and said, yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
So that's interesting.
Very good.
We had...
There are an awful lot of kids in that scene.
Yeah, it's definitely meant to be that. There's like loads of children. The idea, I guess, is that like if he was ever going to be in a movie, he'd be in the movie with his 18 kids.
Yeah.
And then we were sitting here on Saturday night with our other housemate and another friend, and we put on the remake. And you know what? We all sat here and we really enjoyed it. And you know who that remake was directed by? Raja Gosnell, who I referenced 3 minutes ago.
That's why it was on the brain.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo director Raja Gosnell. Very enjoyable. Dennis Quaid and Rene Russo. 80 minutes long. Not enough time for 18 children. They live in a lighthouse in that movie.
That's like 3 minutes per child.
Yeah, let me tell you, folks. Dennis Quaid is no Henry Fonda.
No.
But that film is fun. And I like both versions of it. So there you go. Yours, Mine, and Ours. When I was a child, I used to mix Yours, Mine, and Ours up with Me and You and everyone we know. Henry Fonda plays the bad guy in Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West, which I desperately need to get around to and watch. The movie is very long, but it's he's the big scary villain on the poster, and he looks pretty sick in it. I need to watch it. He does a movie with Jimmy Stewart called The Cheyenne Social Club. Now is the time to reference the fact that him and Jimmy Stewart were very good friends, despite Henry Fonda being a left-wing Democrat and Jimmy Stewart being a right-wing Republican.
Back when we could all be sensible.
Back when we were back
good conversations.
As Richard from the Pointless Board Game would say, agree disagreeably. Sorry, that's Alistair Campbell and the other fucker say that. Sorry,
Rory,
they all work for the same company. Rory and Alistair would say agree disagreeably. Jimmy Stewart and Henry Fonda, as fable tells, were politically vehemently opposed to one another, but we're great friends. So folks, call your local Young Fine Gael member. There is still hope for us all.
You are. Your average Young Fine Gaeler is quite Jimmy Stewart like.
True. We're getting now into territory where I just have not seen any of these movies. He is in a film in 1977 with one of the great titles ever, Tentacles. And the poster just has tentacles on it.
That's kind of, they could get away with that shit back then because films hadn't been made.
Yeah, like there's a lot of 70s Henry. Sorry, I haven't seen a single movie he made in the 70s. This is all crazy stuff. Yeah. Just nady-uppy nonsense. The Great Smoky Roadblock, Meteor, like the man was
he just working with random directors?
Paycheck
was
gigs. Yeah, I think people didn't know what to do with him. And then in 1981, I believe he gets another Oscar, although I need to check this before I say anything. He does. He actually only wins his first competitive Oscar in 1981 for a movie called On Golden Pond. So he got nominated for Grapes of Wrath, nominated for 12 Angry Men as a producer, not as an actor.
Oh.
Then he got an honorary in 1980, and then the year after, this is just what Paul Newman did. The year after getting the honorary Oscar, he wins a competitive one. So Fonda's done it, Newman's done it. Folks, I wonder who could have got a honorary Oscar in 2025 that has a big new movie coming out from Warner Brothers in October of this year.
Who could that be?
Tommy, it's your moment.
Tommy Cruise.
To
be honest, Henry Fonda probably had some annoying children at home he didn't want to be home with and went off. And
His
was
annoying child,
his annoying
Jane
child.
Fonda, the greatest
Yeah,
female movie star of
exactly,
all
yeah.
time, according to our recent list. His annoying child, Bridget Fonda. His annoying,
exactly.
Yeah,
That's why he was always out of the house.
yeah,
That
fair.
was working.
I spent 2 of my precious hours on Friday watching On Golden Pond, so you know I'm going to talk about it. This is a movie where Henry Fonda and Katharine Hepburn are old people and they live out in a little lake house. And he's like, I'm cranky. I'm tired of being alive. It's giving Jack Nicholson in As Good as It Gets. He's an old man and he hates life. And they are visited by their daughter, Jane Fonda, and she brings with her new stepson, who is a little 14-year-old brat. And the little brat is like, Henry Fonda, you're old and stupid. I hate you, and kicks him in the shins. And Henry Fonda's like doing his best Gran Torino, like, you little shit, I'm going to teach some manners into you. And it's a real old man, young boy bonding movie.
Did he have any relationship with Eastwood?
Eastwood, I can't say for sure. I don't know.
Mr. Republican, Mr. Democrat
I don't
relationship?
know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
all right, fine.
But he's fine in On Golden Pond. It's like real old Jack Nicholson performance. It's grand. I thought it was charming. Like whatever. Katharine Hepburn is very good in it. I think they both win Oscars for that. He wins his final Oscar in 1981, and the man dies in the 1982. So he dies the year after. Kind of iconic shit. Honorary Oscar,
Yep.
competitive Oscar,
Yep.
dead
Yep.
3 years in a row. That's
No,
what
Boy
you want.
Party.
Boy Party, and he gave the world Jane and Bridget. Sorry, Bridget isn't his daughter. Bridget is Peter is his son. Apologies,
Yeah.
I forgot about Peter Fonda, who I love, and we will talk about Peter Fonda one day in Easy Rider. But and then he gave the world Bridget. So we love the Fondas. They're a great family. We love Henry Fonda. We might do him again someday. Took us long enough to get to him, and he's great in this movie.
We used to have Henry Fonda and Jane Fonda. Now we have Dennis Quaid and Jack Quaid.
Exactly. Ugh, don't remind me. Walter Matthau, on the other hand, is kind of funny to do a boy party with Walter Matthau, and the other guy isn't Jack Lemmon because he is so associated with Jack Lemmon.
Okay.
But I would argue that many of Walter Matthau's best performances are in films that Jack Lemmon's not in, and certainly vice versa. We did watch a Lemmon Matthau film the other night called The Fortune Cookie,
Yes.
which Matthau is running rings around everyone in that film. It's Jack Lemmon gets injured at a football game where he's the cameraman.
Yeah, a
And
guy
then
runs into him.
Yeah, he like mines his injury for pity and cash with the help of his slimy brother-in-law lawyer Walter Matthau, who is just so good in that film. But they did a whole bunch of movies together. I don't think they're all that great, but many of them are good. I mean, Billy Wilder made a lot of them. He made The Fortune Cookie. Obviously, a Billy Wilder film is not going to be bad. But Matthau has a great career as just like a guy with a funny face. Like you could put him in anything and he'd be funny. He has one of the greatest faces ever.
Is he kind of like real life Squidward nearly?
Yeah, you're right. He is very Squidward.
Yeah,
because he kind of talks like this.
It was like Richard Nixon was my first like
he does
thought,
like
and then
Richard
that
Nixon.
kind of transitioned into
He's like likable Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got such a good face. I see what you mean. I really don't think there's anyone doing it like him today. He's so good, and he's so good at playing a crank. But
And like, was this kind of out of character from Failsafe?
He doesn't. This is pretty early in his career.
Yeah.
He only starts making movies in the 50s, which is kind of nuts. And he is in the James Mason movie Bigger Than Life. It's one of his first films. He's in some Elvis movies. So like he's born in 20, so he's like in his mid 30s when he starts acting in movies. Okay, fair enough. His career kind of starts later than a lot of his contemporaries. Is this out of character for him? No, I don't think so. I think that this character is like a very dialed up version of the types of cranks that he normally plays.
Yeah.
Normally in movies, he's not demanding nuclear bombs. He's demanding slightly more lower stakes things, but he does play guys like this. He has a supporting part in Charade with Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn. That is the year before this. And then after this, he's on a great run. He gets to be a similar enough character in Mirage with Gregory Peck. Fortune Cookie, A Guide for the Married Man is such a good title. And that's a poster where Matthau has lipstick marks all over his face and is holding a martini glass and is making a face that's like, me. I'm going to say something really insulting to him, and I don't mean it this way. Bill Maher is a little bit like him. Bill Maher has kind of the same face and voice and vibe. Like if Bill Maher stuck to acting and was good at it, which I don't think he is, having seen the film Pizza Man, and didn't do a stupid political show and have terrible opinions, he could kind of do some of these Walter Matthau parts.
The Walter Matthau room is a bit like the set of Real Time with Bill Maher.
It is exactly. Yeah, Failsafe could take place on the set of Real Time with Bill Maher.
It could, yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm looking at this picture of him with the lipstick all over his face, and I'm like, who is today's sleaziest white guy in his 60s? And I'm like, Bill Maher is kind of like him. Anyway, Odd Couple is obviously one of the great Lemon movies. He's in Hello Dolly with Streisand. He's so good in that. Again, playing kind of a crank, but a crank with a voice. The Cactus Flower is an excellent film that is remade by Adam Sandler. Let's just go with it. So there you go. You have Adam Sandler playing a Walter Matthau part.
Was he at all... Like, could he have been the co-lead of Some Like It Hot? Was he around at that stage?
I don't remember what year that is. What is that, mid-60s? I just don't think he's right for that at all. That guy has to be pretty. The guy's in Some Like It Hot.
Oh, yeah. He's
sorry. Do you think Walter Matthau in drag is going to be believable to Marilyn Monroe?
Less so than...
He has a louder face than either of those guys. I'll say that much.
Sure.
Elaine May is A New Leaf, a film I'm not personally that attached to, but that is like kind of many people's like number one Matthau movie, so needs a shout out. Then I watched him in the original Taking of Pelham 123, where he plays the Denzel role of the guy in the control room who's trying to negotiate with the criminals. Robert Shaw, as I said to you, movies about hostage negotiations, never as exciting as you think they're going to be. That movie is mostly set in a stationary train carriage that is just kind of parked in the
Failsafe is
underground system.
Negotiation film.
Yeah,
but I guess
but
the stakes
are a lot higher than a fucking stolen subway car.
Yeah.
Bad News Bears, he's in. That gets remade, I believe, with Billy Bob Thornton, I'm going to say, years later. I mean, Bill Murray does a little bit of this shtick as well.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There's a lot of Neil Simon stuff here that I don't really need to list. A lot of Billy Wilder, a lot of Jack Lemmon collaborations. Obviously, him and Jack Lemmon end up doing Grumpy Old Men, Grumpier Old Men. They do Odd Couple 2. These are their big franchises they have when they get old. Like the late 90s, they're still doing Out to Sea. 1998, they do Odd Couple 2. I quite like Odd Couple 2. Matthau is cast, of course, as Mr. Wilson in the Dennis the Menace movie, which he is good fun in, like basically just like at war with this child.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of thing that De Niro is doing now with like the war with grandpa and bad grandpa and stuff. IQ, he plays Albert Einstein. We watched this the other day.
We did. Sorry.
You wanted to talk about the fucking Oppenheimer nuke connection here.
A little bit. Matthau was
Robbins
playing Einstein, and it's basically Tim Robbins is a mechanic who is kind of smitten by Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
And she's a physicist, so he kind of makes up a friendship with Albert Einstein.
And Albert Einstein plays matchmaker.
Yeah, essentially, where he's kind of feeding him information about physics to try and let him impress her. It's shot
in the same
Princeton, so it's based in Princeton. So like the same building that like Downey is walking out of and Einstein is kind of hanging around is where this is shot, and it's very funny.
Yeah, no, it's good fun. And Matthau's very funny as Einstein in it.
It's ridiculous. It's such. It's in the Dick line of
absolutely
of films of where kind of alternate history funny guy. Like I'm not sure we get that anymore.
His final movie is the movie that Diane Keaton directed with Meg Ryan and Lisa Kudrow in 2000, and he's fourth billed, and then Adam Arkin is fifth billed. That's a fun cast, and that is 2000, and that is his final film, and he dies in 2000, and he dies in 2000 at the age of 79. It's kind of young. I would have liked another 10-15 years of Matthau.
He's 69.
79.
Oh, okay.
But he won an Oscar for The Fortune Cookie for supporting actor, which is phenomenal. What a great performance. God, I almost sounded like him there where I went, that's phenomenal. He's so good in that. That is such a good comedy performance. That's like Melissa McCarthy and Bridesmaids type shit. Like that's a good like crazy silly person in a comedy that deserves an Oscar. And then 2 more nominations for Koch and the Sunshine Boys. All right. We do the Letterboxd Top 4 game.
We will.
Mr. Clooney. George Clooney, folks, he named Failsafe as one of his 4 favorite films. No surprise. You know who's sitting beside him when he's giving his Letterboxd Top 4? Mr. Lipa himself, Callum Turner.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they're hanging out.
He directed him in The Boys in the Boat.
Oh, very good.
Hopefully Callum Turner
So he did this probably a year or two ago?
Yeah, a year or two ago. Hopefully Callum Turner went home and watched Failsafe if he hadn't seen it with his wife.
I definitely probably saw this video, but I've forgotten entirely what else he said.
These 4 are like basically all the same movie. Like there's no surprises in here. They're all like the same.
Is 12 Angry Men in there as well?
No, but like you hear like they're all things that have been mentioned today probably. Like
not Strange Love.
No.
Is there a Kubrick in there?
No.
Is there Hitchcock?
No, there is. Okay, so there is another Lumet film, and then there is a 70s movie about guys in rooms that we've done on the podcast.
Oh, is Network in there?
Yes.
Yeah, Network's
and then
in
there was another 70s movie about guys in rooms in guys on the phone.
70s guys on the phone.
Like the most 70s guys on the phone movie that's ever existed.
The Conversation.
No, we've done this on the podcast.
Oh.
In the last 6 months. Guys on phone, and stakes are high, and the poster was maybe something that we made a copy of and sold at our live show.
Oh, sorry. All the President's Men. Yes, of course.
And then the final one is like most basic best movie of all time answer you could possibly give if you're George Clooney.
It's a Wonderful Life.
No, it's more basic. Like the most basic answer.
Citizen Kane.
More basic.
What?
It's the only answer more basic than Citizen Kane.
Sound of Music?
No, you're overthinking it. The Godfather. Okay.
Oh, sure.
All right. That's the Letterboxd Top 4 game. Give me the box office, please, for the films of 1964.
Yeah. Pretty stacked year here, I think.
Yeah.
This did not make the top.
Sorry, did Failsafe get any Oscar nominations? We
do need to discuss that. Yeah.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Accolades. This movie received 0 Oscar nominations, but it got a BAFTA nomination for the United Nations Award. Excuse me?
FIFA World Peace Prize.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to figure out what that means while you do the box office.
We've done this box office before because there was another film from this year that we've covered on the podcast.
Okay, recently? Too recently that I'll remember.
In 2025.
Oh, right. Well, all right.
Probably. I'd say we did this episode maybe in May or something.
Look, I don't remember, so start
you don't.
and see how I get on.
This is a film you have higher on your all-time list.
Sound of Music.
Nope.
Mary Poppins.
Correct.
Yep. Is that the movie you're referencing?
Yeah. That was number 1 for the year.
But that's when we did this game before.
Yeah.
Oh, we did Mary Poppins in like October of 24. So.
Oh, was that long ago?
Yeah, I've forgotten this.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Next up is another musical.
Is it Funny Girl?
Nope.
It's not Oliver.
Who's the director?
Yeah, tell me the director.
Kukor.
It's a Kukor musical.
Yeah.
Ooh, weird.
This is a name people know.
It's not My Fair Lady.
It is.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's My Fair Lady.
not a very good film.
Next up, we've got the franchise.
The franchise
of the
60s.
Of the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s.
Star Trek?
Nope.
What? It's a franchise in every decade.
Yeah.
What franchise is in every decade? It's Bond.
It's Bond.
Okay, so this is like very early.
We got 2 Bonds this year.
Is this
3 and
With
5?
Love?
No, that's number 5.
There's 2 of them.
2 Bonds this year.
Jesus Christ. One of them must be a hangover from the year before. So Goldfinger?
Sorry, one of them came out December 22nd, 64.
Okay, Goldfinger.
Goldfinger, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fail safe.
I'll do one more.
Yeah, do one
and then
more.
I'll just list them off.
Yeah, fine.
Because this has a funny name.
Oh, yeah?
And I think I identified this had a funny name when we did it last time.
Okay.
George Peppard?
Yeah.
And Alan Ladd.
This is Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
Edward Dmytryk film.
Oh, I don't know.
The Carpetbaggers.
Oh, that's a good name. I never would have got that. The Carpetbaggers.
Rounding out the top 10, we got Father Goose, A Shot in the Dark, What a Way to Go,
think
The Unsinkable Molly Brown, The Pink Panther.
Oh, yeah, I think Father Goose is Cary Grant.
Dr. Strangelove is in at 12. Do you want to go through the litigation and the legal issues there?
Oh, let's have a look. Yeah, so apparently it was not considered okay and normal that 2 identical movies came out the same year, believe it or not.
Yeah. I mean, the Cold War was happening. This is kind of the shit everyone was thinking about all the time.
Yeah. So the film's reception with critics and the public was compounded by the prior release of Dr. Strangelove, which came out in January, and this came out in October. That's not great.
It was a bit of a stretch there.
The novel sold well for the remainder of the 20th century, and the film was given high marks for retaining the essence of the novel. There's actually like nothing on here about the litigation. I believe that there was some issues there because the movie is just like so similar, and because it came out second, I guess it probably did film second, so there probably was an impression. But sorry, this is based on a fucking book. It wasn't an original.
It wasn't
idea.
a stolen.
No,
Like, I wonder if Kubrick had read.
Yeah, Kubrick might have stolen the idea from Failsafe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Seems
that's crazy.
Don't worry
anyway,
about it.
Don't worry about it, folks. That's it for this edition of Boy Party. It's one of the best movies we'll ever talk about in this podcast, so you better go check it out.
I think this, I cite this to people as my favorite film ever.
No, that's funny. You'd only seen it once, but sure.
I know, but I don't want to...
It's a good one to talk about.
It's a good one to talk about, and it's one that brings out such an incredibly strong reaction to me that I don't want to desensitize myself to
of
it.
course.
This is not something you need to rewatch all the time.
No. I have it in my top 4 on Letterboxd. It could be switched out for Network or many other films that I love, but it's the token like cool 60s 70s American film in my top 4.
And it's nicely underrated, I think.
Exactly. I like the level of fame it's at. It's like real ones no fail safe.
Real ones no fail
and like Christopher McQuarrie will bring it up, and then the odd person will be like, "Oh, that was really like fail safe," but most people will never watch it. Great film. You should watch it, and the criterion that we have of it is really nice, and I would recommend that you buy it. And it has some cool bonus features,
cool poster.
We need to read the essay that's in it actually. Definitely worth buying. So that's that. You can visit boypartypod.com for the latest episodes. You can follow the show Boy Party Pod on Instagram. You can subscribe to receive all the latest episodes. We've got episodes coming every Tuesday for the rest of history of all time until the world explodes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, listener.
And when you hear a loud shrieking sound, that's how you'll know the podcast is over.